It has been 15 years since the original Inazuma 11 game came out in Japan, and what better way to celebrate by taking a look at all the new information we've gotten about the new game in the series, Inazuma 11 Victory Road. For context, the last big news drop was actually 5 months ago as part of the Level 5 Vision presentation. First, we're going to be looking at some of the early information that was given out by the Level 5 ambassadors. These are Japanese content creators chosen by Level 5 to help promote their game and get early access to certain information. We're actually going to start with the biggest piece of new information from this early batch, and that is the reveal of this new character. We do not have a name for him yet, but we do know that he's important to the story and that he's seemingly related to a certain character we know. Now, I've seen a lot of names floating around. I've seen Miles, the childhood friend of Nathan's. I've seen Faerun and Dr. Cryptix from Chronostones, which I can actually see with a futuristic theming in his clothes here. But personally, I think this character could be connected to Lucy, or Lucia, from Inazuma Eleven 3. That was the young girl that had her blindness cured by Ray Dark of all people, and I think that could be a very interesting way to tie him back into this story as well, because we all know we can never escape Ray Dark. In any case, I think this character could really be related to anyone. This character could very well be related to Axel Blaze and Jude Sharp if they really wanted to, but I think we'll find out soon enough. We also got the official art for the Nagomara kits, which I think look really solid actually, especially the goalkeeper one. And we also finally got the character sheets for the remaining Victory Road characters, being Kisuji Haita, Shinohara Raika, and Korogai Kamio, which I think look great. We're just a matter of time before we got these, but it's nice to have them either way. So now we're gonna actually dive into the full blog post, which, fun fact, was uploaded at around 5 AM in Europe and 4 AM in the UK. Thank you Hino for that, but I made sure to cover it anyway. Let's get into it. Hino says that the game industry has evolved a lot and that he felt like the system couldn't really stay the same if he wanted to retain that true Inazuma 11 feeling. That's why he actually decided to revamp the game system. So while details on this are still vague, you can basically think of this as Hino introducing more options to the actual gameplay. So when you enter a duel, for example, you mostly only have the options of left, right, and a special move. With these new systems, you would actually be able to do a lot more there. Arguably the biggest addition here though is that of the tension gauge. This is a gauge that is shared by all members of the team, not just one individual player, and is used to perform special moves, effectively replacing TP. I actually think this is a very interesting move, and I'm very curious to see how this will actually play out practically. But in case you're still a bit confused or think it's a bit vague, next week, August 31st, we'll be getting a gameplay video showcasing these elements. So for the second big reveal, we're actually getting a new mode, a third game mode, called Victory Road. And this basically is a football frontier mode, a online championship where you can compete against other players. Anyone can participate in the qualifiers, and you can freely play against each other, earn points, and this will be run on a seasonal basis. It seems that each season will last about 2 to 3 months, though these are details that can change at any given time. But the most interesting part here is that teams must have at least 6 seasonal players and 5 eternal ones. What could this mean? Well, a seasonal player is a player that's released in a given season, and an eternal player is a player that's from another game mode, so from story mode or chronicle mode, and every season teams have to start over from scratch. So the funny thing is, for seasonal players, they can only be used for a maximum of 3 seasons. They come in as freshmen, become sophomores, etc., and after a third year, as they do, they graduate. After this they become eternal players, however, and can be used in those slots. Honestly, I think it's a very cool game mode to have, and now with online play being possible, honestly a no-brainer, and I think a lot of players have wanted this. However, not to be a downer here, but I am worried about how we're going to get those seasonal players, as they're only available per season. Of course, we have the seasonal pass mentioned on the official website, but from what Hino is saying, there might be some gacha elements to it, he's referring to getting players like Jude Sharp as being lucky. Of course, we don't have any details on that yet, how that exactly works, and that is subject to change anyway. But I hope we get more clarity on that soon, because I think that's a slippery slope. But again, I'm open to anything, let's just wait and see. The third big reveal, arguably the biggest, depending on who you ask at least, is that not every mechanic will be able to return here. Of course, because of almost all players returning, we do get the confirmation that fighting spirits are back in Victory Road. But we did get confirmation afterwards that despite not being in the game at launch, mechanics such as mix and match, armor fight and totems might be added later in the form of updates. But let's get back to fighting spirits for a minute, because while I do genuinely like them, from a gameplay perspective, they're very overpowering and they are a big reason why I do not like Go 1. Even though I think they're very overpowering throughout all the Go games. I was personally convinced we were not getting any past mechanics in here, so to get the full-on confirmation that spirits will be in the game at launch and that the others may be added through updates, to me is something I really have to process and have to wait to see how they're planning on implementing this. Of course, again, we don't have a lot of details here. We don't know the exact applications, the exact restrictions. Personally, I can see them being allowed in Chronicle mode, not being allowed in Story mode, but it truly could be anything. It could be the other way around. It was not something that was on my bingo list for the game, and I'm just hoping they handle this the right way, because I really don't want these spirits to overpower the game again. We did get some additional information after the fact by the ambassadors. For example, special tactics are returning, which is great news. We already knew that special moves were going to be voiced, but now we know that they cannot be skipped, but they can be sped up to double speed, I believe. All important characters will be voiced, which is to be expected, and scouts will be getting generic shouts, which I think makes a lot of sense because we're dealing with 4,500 characters here. So, with the big news out of the way, let's look at a timeline of the information we can expect in the coming month. First of all, we'll be getting a new gameplay trailer on the 31st of August, which will be showcasing the new gameplay elements and systems that we discussed earlier. Hino is putting it as an information release, so I think there's a good chance we'll be getting another blog post. Of course, with a trailer like this, there's a very good chance we're also seeing some new moves or some new players in action, which is always exciting. Afterwards, between the 1st of September and September 21st, we'll be getting a story trailer. Hino revealed in the blog post that the voice actors for Haru Endo and Sasanami Unmei have finally been found, and that the staff is very excited about them. Of course, whether this trailer will be an in-game cutscene or anything else remains to be seen. I think it very well could be a in-game cutscene, just straight up, but we'll find out soon enough. And finally, the Tokyo Game Show, which will run from September 21st till September 24th. We know there will be a playable demo of Victory Road at the level 5 booth, which is, I think, very indicative of the confidence level 5 has in the game. I hope we'll get to see some gameplay here through some footage on Twitter, for example, but the ambassadors have implied there might be some more information to be announced there. Personally, I'm hoping for a release date. I don't think we're getting it the 31st. I don't think we're getting it in the story trailer. Tokyo Game Show is a perfect place to announce the release date, so please, pull through. He knows we want it. He has it, I'm sure. In any case, that's it for the information this time around. So we have a new gameplay system, we have a Football Frontier mode, we have fighting spirits and possibly more returning. I think this is generally big news. I woke up pretty early for this and initially didn't think it was that worth it, but we know that we're getting more next week. We know we're getting a story trailer, and we're getting possibly more info at Tokyo Game Show, and just the demo being there is already great news. So I'm excited, I cannot wait to hear more about this. Are you excited? Is there anything specifically about this information you're excited about? Let me know in the comments below. My voice is still recovering from a busy weekend, so I hope that wasn't too noticeable. But in any case, if you like this video, please drop a like. Again, let me know in the comments what you're most excited for, and I'll see you next time.